Good morning. This is Susan, and this is Susan's Ramblings. Please like, share, and subscribe. Okay, I think we've got great materials here on great hints. So today we're going to be on hints again. It's from my youth club cookbook. My mouth is not working. Cookbook. So here we go. Get your pencils, your papers, and your favorite beverage, and we'll go right now. Egg whites need to be at room temperature for greater volume when whipped. Remember this when making meringue. When preparing several batches of pie dough, roll the dough out between sheets of plastic wrap. Stack the disc in a pizza box and keep the box in the freezer. Pull out the required crust as needed. I never thought of that. Place your pie plate on a cake stand when placing the pie dough in it and fluffing the edges. The cake stand will make it easier to turn the pie plate, and you won't have to stoop over. Many kitchen utensils can be used to make decorative pie edges. For a scallop edge, use a spoon. Crisscross, crosshatch, and herringbone patterns are achieved with a fork. For a sharply pointed effect, use a can opener to cut out points around the rim. And they're not talking about can openers. They're can openers can openers that open cans by going around them. They're talking about the can openers that have pointed ends on them, okay? Then I don't know if that makes sense. But I don't have any here to show you either. They make pointed edges. You poke a hole into the can with the pointed edge. Okay? Then, keep strawberries fresh up to 10 days by refrigerating them unwashed in an airtight container between layers of paper towels. I've never tried that one. The only way I keep strawberries or any kind of berries or any other kind of vegetables, basically, is when I bring them home, I put them in a bath of vinegar and water. 10 parts of water, 1 part of vinegar. And I let them push them around in there, leave them for maybe 5 minutes, take them out, and I rinse them good. And then I put them in their containers, and it keeps all the mold and so forth away from it. That works for me. I've never tried this other one. I've also been told that you can use a plain glass jar, a mason jar, and put your strawberries in it unwashed, and they will keep in the refrigerator, and they will keep. Now, I've never tried that one either. Okay. When grating citrus peels, bits of peels are often stuck in the holes of the grater. Rather than waste the peel, you can easily brush it off by using a clean toothbrush. Use toothbrushes for almost anything, for a lot of things. To core a pear, slice the pear in half lengthwise. Use a melon baller to cut the central core using a circular motion. Draw the melon baller to the top of the pear, removing the interior stem as you go. My mouth is not working today. It's just not working right. Tongue isn't working, I'm going to say. When cutting butter in the flour for pastry dough, the process is easier if you cut the butter into small pieces before adding it to the flour. Yes, it works much better. And make sure it's cold. It's got to be cold from the refrigerator, not room temperature. To keep the cake plate clean when frosting, slide 6-inch strips of wax papers onto each side of the cake. Once the cake is frosted and the frosting is set, pull the strips away, leaving a clean plate, and that works perfectly. When decorating a cake with chocolate, you can make a quick decorating tube. Put chocolate in a heat-safe zipper-locked plastic bag. Immerse in simmering water until the chocolate is melted. Nip off the tip of one corner and squeeze the chocolate out of the bag. This plastic bag tip works for many things. You can use it for deviled eggs. When you wipe them out, you can use them for decorative mashed potatoes. You can use it for frosting. You can do almost anything with those if you have those plastic bags with Ziploc tags and they cut out the corner when you use it. Professionally decorated cakes have a silky, molten look. To get that appearance, frost your cake as usual, and then use a hairdryer to blow dry the surface until the frosting slightly melts. Anybody tried that one? To ensure that you have equal amounts of batter in each pan when making a layered cake, use a kitchen scale to measure the weight. Okay, next one. Push animal-shaped cookie cutters slightly in the frosting on cakes or cupcakes. Fill depressed outlines with chocolate icing or decorating confections. Fill flat bottom ice cream cones half full with cake batter and bake. Top with icing and decorating confections. And now my mother did that. And this was 60 years ago. Longer than that, 65 years ago probably. And it was longer than that. I think I was about 10. Yeah, that's about right. Anyway, 65, 70 years in there. And it came May Basket, and they didn't have the internet then, they didn't have these things. And she decided, May Day, and everybody gave May baskets or something. And you give it to them, you put the May baskets on the step, you ring the doorbell, and you run. But we, in our town, we did it a little bit different. We took them to school instead and passed them out to all our classmates. So we ended up with mini May baskets. Anyway, Mom was trying to make these, and she and her neighbor got together. They didn't know if it even worked, but they figured it would. The problem was they didn't have flat bottom cupcake ice cream things that during that time. Whoops. And they had the pointed ones. And they couldn't figure out how to keep the pointed ones straight so they could cook the cupcakes. They finally figured it out, and we had cupcakes to take. Everybody thought that was terrific. And, I used it with my children, I used it with my grandchildren, and now we're using it with the great-grandchildren. But we use flat bottom cones. But I remember Mom and the neighbor trying to figure out how to keep those cones upright so they could cook. They did it. It was funny. It's one of my favorite memories, okay? So, it works well. To decorate cookies with chocolate, place the cookies on a rack over wax paper. Dip the tins of fork of chocolate and wave the fork gently back and forth, making wavy lines. To make cookie crumbs for your recipes, put cookies into half in a plastic bag and run a rolling pin back and forth until they're the right size. Use that with crackers too. A device that works well for decorating sugar cookies is an empty plastic thread ball. Simply press the spool into the dough, imprinting a pretty flower design. Very easy, isn't it? Never thought of that. Tin coffee cans make excellent freezer containers for cookies. If you only have one cookie sheet on hand, line it with parchment paper. When one batch is cooking, Load a second sheet of parchment paper to have another batch ready to bake. Cleaning is also easier. When a recipe calls for packed brown sugar, fill the correct size measuring cup with the sugar, and then use the next smaller size cup to pack the brown sugar into the cup. Dipping strawberries in chocolate, stick toothpicks into the stem of the berry. Coat the berries with chocolate, shaking off any excess. Turn the berries upside down and stick the toothpick into the block of the styrofoam until the chocolate is set. The finished berries will have chocolate with no flat spots. Another easy solution is to place dip berries dip side down into the hole of an egg carton. And you can also put your toothpicks into a pool noodle. Cut your pool noodle in half, make it the size you want, and when you dip your strawberries, put your toothpick in there. Cut up dried fruit, sometimes stick to the blade of your knife. To prevent this problem, coat the blade of your knife with a thin film of vegetable spray before cutting. Cutting dessert bars is easier if you score the bars as soon as the pan comes out of the oven. When the bars cool, cut along the scored lines. That's it for today. Have a great day. God bless.